Tom, I got to tell you, since we've done the Guesto episode with my good friend M, I've been thinking a lot about the slime time, as she called it, which is the scumbag impulse. And I remember that, like, I don't know, the age of 12, I figured out how piracy worked, and I was compelled to steal as much enterprise software that I could get my hands on, even though I didn't know how to use it, just because I knew it was worth a lot of money.
Just like database technology?
Yeah, I just wanted to take it, like, because it had a value, even though its value meant nothing to me, because I don't know how to use CAD or whatever I was stealing. So my question for you is, did you have those similar naughty boy impulses, and like what were they?
Well, Joe, I gotta tell you, I hope this makes you have some hometown pride, because I really do think that slime time scumbag impulse, if not unique to the southwest suburbs, know that it was not universal. It is a privilege of yours to have that put in your brain from a very early age, because growing up in Hyrule Castletown as I did, I did not have that sort of just inherent need to do crime.
It's not crime. It's just like, it's stupid. I also want to sit in a garage all the time, just and hang out.
Well, that kicks ass. That's true for everybody. But like the scumbag impulse, I didn't have it. That idea, like, to just like do something, to just sit down and fuck shit up. Like in a benign way, but in a very, like, I think I can cause some chaos. That just didn't occur to me. I wanted instead to pet a kitty cat, eat cookies, and play video games, and throw a water balloon. Those are the 4 things that I wanted to do. I may have listed 5 things just then. If that's the case, you know about numbers. I meant to say the right one.
Okay. Even by that metric, there was still a thing you did that was the worst thing, the most crime adjacent Tom endeavor. So, like, what was it?
Okay, I actually have an answer, but before we get to that, I do want to say that although I never pirated enterprise software, I did spend a lot of time on Napster downloading compilations of Ralph Wiggum voice clips from The Simpsons.
Yeah. Yes. Did you have this impulse during the Napster era where you're like, I better get all these clips because I'm going to need these for later?
I mean, legit, I would fucking play all the Ralph Wiggum lines and just be like, I'm loving it. Like, funk later. I'm loving this now. I'm starting it over. I'm listening to all the Ralph lines.
Yeah, the way I rationalized it is I was like building a library that will then at some point have a purpose.
No, I was just like, you know what I would love to hear is every line Ralph has said. And like, to the point, Joe, I recently rewatched all the classic episodes of The Simpsons, all the classic seasons with my wife, because she grew up out of the country where they didn't have Simpsons on all the time. She's like, I've actually never fucking seen most of these shows. So I'm like, let's watch them. And every time Ralph said something, it was like my brain, it's like I remembered my karate training.
Yeah.
And it's because of this.
Ralph is funny.
Just anytime I saw an MP3 that looked like it was a compilation of Simpsons lines, I downloaded that shit. No questions asked. But that's not the worst thing I did. I gotta tell you, the worst thing I did occurred in, I was in school and I was in the band program, which was like 12 kids decided that they would play some fucking terrible brass instrument. Like, you're required to pick out of a selection of instruments, all of which suck and are lame. There's no
We
cool
love
ones.
making kids play dirges. They have to play dirges if they want to get a music education.
I played the flute. We played Cape Spear March. Not every song we played was Cape Spear March. They all had different names, but they were all Cape Spear March, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was just exclusively Cape Spear March from top to bottom. And the point of the band class was that it happened, I think, once or twice a week. Probably once. No, maybe twice. I can't remember. But when it happened, when band class happened, you and everyone else in the band got to stand up in the middle of the class and say, I need to go to band. And the teacher had to let you go. And you didn't have to do the class during band.
Like when you get the sticker on your car for a funeral, you just get to do your own thing.
Exactly. It's the same thing. So we go to band, and there's a band room, and we do our fucking Cape Spear March. No one really gives a shit. We don't learn. Like, I did band for like 3-4 years, and I don't remember any shit about, like, I used to be able to read notes, like, easily. Like, I would just, like, read them, but as soon as I stopped, it all exited my brain, because I read the notes to the extent that I needed to in order for band class to get me out of real class, and no further. So I was in this room, yeah, and we were just fucking around. I'm going to say probably the teacher wasn't there yet, because if they were, we would not be allowed to do this shit. And we were fucking around. We were going into sort of the back of the room where there's like storage area, and we were like seeing if there was anything back there. Not to like cause chaos or be a scumbag, but just because like we're bored and we're in this room, and what's in this room.
Also, the back of the band room has goodies. As a band kid, there's just stuff. There's just fun things.
And what we found was, well, it's not going to sound like this is a fun thing, but I guarantee there's a twist coming. What we found was a child's Fisher-Price toy radio. When I say a toy radio, I do not mean that it picks up radio waves. I mean that it has a dial, a big plastic dial, and you can turn it to 4 directions. There is a saxophone, a hot, jazzy saxophone. There is a cowboy hat. There is like a violin, and there may have been a guitar. And those represented the 4 stations that you can turn on. You know, how there's country, jazzy sax, classical, and fucking, like, rock by way of Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, where, like, that's the heaviest song you can think of.
Country makes sense. I thought cowboy was a weird genre.
Anyway, you would turn to one of these 4 stations, and what that would do is, in addition to this dial, there were 4 buttons labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. And each one of them will play a song, and the 4 songs change based on what station you're on. So what you got is a little thingy that has 16 terrible MIDI tracks on it, and will play them when you press a button. And it has been fashioned into a children's radio by Fisher-Price. Now, Joe, does this sound like this is going to cause me, at this point, I'm going to say in 6th grade, cause me a great deal of joy and pleasure? Does this sound promising to you?
Not really. Maybe as the story continues, we learn that the radio is hollow and there's a Game Boy inside.
No. Although I will say that the radio does contain a horrible treasure that no one could have foreseen. That makes it sound more exciting than it is. Because, Joe, we were fucking touching these buttons, and we noticed that when we did, it would play a terrible MIDI song that sucked. And it wasn't funny, and we weren't laughing. I gotta make that clear. We weren't laughing at anything, and we didn't think it was funny. Then we turned it to Cowboy Channel. Oh, and we pressed number 1. And it started playing Home on the Range. You know the old song. Home on the range. And it was in beep, so it was beep, 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 beep. All normal so far. And then, Joe, when you're on the range, you know, sometimes when you're playing these country musics, it's not enough to just use your instruments, because it's about the country. I think sometimes, honestly, to get these songs across, you need the sounds of the country in the song. And when you're on the range, tending to the cattle, tending to the herd, well, you know who's going to be your best friend is your trusty horse. So, wouldn't it then make sense for, as some sort of a percussive note, perhaps a flourish, in the instrumentation of your rendition of Home on the Range, to have the bray of your faithful horse going nay. Does this make sense? Do you agree?
Yeah, that would set the mood for me.
It would, wouldn't it? Now, Joe, have I been talking about how this toy radio has great sound quality this whole time, or have I been saying something different?
You have.
I have. Because, Joe, right in the middle of this beep, beep, home on the range, beep, 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 there is a sound that when we heard this shit made us, like, absolutely lose our fucking minds with laughter. It is what is intended to be the neigh of a horse that has been compressed into a MIDI format beyond the fucking conception of the human mind. No one thought a sound could get like this. And it sounded like nothing so much as, oh God, do you remember, have you seen the movie Galaxy Quest?
No.
Oh, well, what a treat is in store for you, because it's hilarious. But at one point, there is a hideous, weird pig alien that is teleported onto the Star Trek ship, except the teleporter is not configured for its body type, so it comes inside out, and it shows up completely inside out, and it sort of wriggles for a while before exploding. And the sounds that monster makes in that scenario is the closest thing I ever heard to what came out of this fucking thing in the middle of the home on the range. So it went beep, beep, beep. And Joe, you've heard me in the past talk about how when I was a little kid, and the part in Aladdin in the song where they say he's got the monkeys, let's see the monkeys. I listened to that. I rewound that 100 times, and each time I was laughing even louder. That shit was not even a tenth as funny to me as this fucking sound on Home on the Range. And
this was an uncut goof. Like, this was the pure stuff.
Just context-free, unexplainable, but just when I heard this sound, every neuron in my brain was like, oh, you want heroin, right? Well, here it is for free. I made it for you.
Also,
myself.
You found this. Like, your efforts unearthed this treat.
Now, this is all true, Joe, but you'll recall that I started telling this story because I was supposed to talk about the worst thing I ever did.
Yeah, if you heard a funny sound, and I guess you laughed so hard you felt bad about it for the preceding 23 years, which, I don't know, that's pretty bad, I guess.
No,
Catholic of you.
No, dude, because what I did, and this is still not very bad, because what I did is noticing how much I enjoyed this sound, just went over to the front of the band room, got my backpack, went back, and put that shit in my backpack and took it home with me. It became my children's toy radio. My parents were like, why the fuck do you have a children's toy radio? I said, check this shit out. It went beep, beep, beep. They were like, I don't get it. And I'm like...
And then you just took it into your room and, like, played it until you passed out from ecstasy.
That's about it. Yeah.
Can I... You saying the band details sort of shocked a very visual image of band from childhood in my life, and it was specifically a band concert where we played one of the 3 songs that you talked about. But I remember this because this was the night that the final episode of Seinfeld was airing, and I remember all of the parents, as soon as it ended, like, ran out. I remember this for as long as I live. They were like, we got to get home to see Seinfeld. And it was the funniest thing. They didn't give a shit, dude.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast. On this show, we look at the 4 pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I'm Tom, an anime sicko.
I'm Joe, an anime sicko.
So, Joe, it's been like a while since we've done a posting episode, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last one.
Yeah, posting.
It's one of the 4 things. It's like a quarter of our show. Makes sense that we would do an episode on it.
I have to be honest. Obviously, posting sucks as bad as it ever has, and all those things. But just like getting rid of Trump's account, it feels like he died. Like,
yeah,
he never. It's not that he's gone. It feels as if he never existed, and I'm not saying this in the finally we can go back to normal. Actually, those are very comfy cages the kids have. I'm saying this just in the sense that removing one person from online should not have such a rippling effect.
And man, did it ever. Because I gotta say, we've been waiting for something to happen that we can talk about that has to do with posting, and it just hasn't come. And we were discussing this before the episode, and I think that talking about it with you has uncovered a deep truth to me in my mind, which is that posting as its whole, I think, always is trying to trend towards permanent poster's ear, just an absolute unending loop of the same stuff forever. This is what it will always revert to. And we identified poster's ear as some sort of like unique, discrete malady, like something that would come up from time to time, where we were wrong. That's actually the natural order of things. And the only reason we thought it was unusual is because there was a very loud, insane man who was made of chaos, who yelled something insane every single day. And you're required to listen to him because he's the president. And now he's gone, and it's like there's no one there to stir the slop.
Not with such repercussions, because again, everything he posted was implicitly backed up with the might of a nuclear arsenal, which is like something I try not to think about.
Yeah, if he says like they're trying to cancel the Muppets, Miss Piggy, I want to fuck her, like they have to put it on the news. Like they have to.
Yeah. It's malpractice. And the worst part about it is, yes, they have to put it on the news, but if you tweet something to the effect of like, I don't know, this Muppet story seems kind of meh, you're going to get yelled at for not taking democracy seriously. Like it's going to happen, and everyone is going to call you an idiot that doesn't understand journalism.
Mm-hmm. Because now that he's gone, no one's stirring the slop. It's just, there's nothing.
It's not better. It's just stagnant. Like the poison is moving around less. Who gives a shit?
Well, I mean, we do, because a quarter of our show, actually, I think fully now a half of our show is just gone from the world. Jobs, like that's not a real thing. Either you work in retail and go to COVID hell every day, right, or you sit at home and you tap on the computer and then go to bed.
Yeah, and not to like draw back the curtain too much, but in the initial stages, the pillars of posting and jobs also were protection from having two guys with exclusively an anime and gaming podcast, and even the world took that away from us, or is trying to.
Yeah, because like as you say, like we're not done posting. We're still drinking from the toilet, except now that the toilet water is absolutely flat and stagnant, and the big yellow man who came and flushed it every day is dead now, and the toilet water never gets replaced. And yeah, as a result, when we go to do a posting episode, there's just no fucking new shit to talk about. It's garbage.
The most posting-related thing currently happening is that Neera Tanden is in a bitter confirmation battle, and the news is that she posts a lot. First of all, factually true. Yes, people have pointed out online countless times that part of her charm and power as a poster is that she was fucking replying to small accounts at like 1:30 a.m. That's dope.
Like there's any number of people who have blue checks and they go on Twitter and are like, hey, socialists, you think the minimum wage should be higher? I think that that's not very realistic, you Russian traitors. There's so many of those people. There are a dime a dozen. But what made Neera special is when someone would reply to her with like brain on shit mode. She would fucking reply at midnight.
Yeah. And the reason I think the Neera thing exists the way in the world it currently does is because it is a posting related plot line in the wake of 4 years where the news was just, hey, what did the guy say on Twitter? Now, I feel like this is a dragon chasing moment where we can get this moment of, we can get a news cycle out of just posts again.
I mean, people often said that like journalists deep down really love Trump, and I don't know if I don't want to like psychoanalyze people. I don't know, but I mean, I do feel like if your job is to report the news, there's nothing.
The news is what is being screamed on Twitter. Yes, it objectively makes your job easier because you don't gotta
so
like
easy.
Call anybody or like go anywhere.
You don't even do anything you wouldn't normally be doing. You just fucking scroll on your phone until you see what's the news for today. And I think, I mean, part of what sucks about the absolute stagnation of posting these days is that even this Neera shit was barely enough for an episode, because I was like looking for an angle and I couldn't fucking even find one, because the journalism of posts is so limp and weak. They don't even understand like what the point of all this posting is, because I went for some primary sources. I wanted to have like Neera's worst posts ready to go, ready to rock. And I'm like, let's see what they are. Every single news story that is reporting on how Neera's tweets are getting her in hot water, they're not her being like, I'll come to your house and kill you, to like socialist dick man 69.
If only we deserve such a treat.
No, the posts that are constantly being referenced are her being like, Susan Collins, you should keep your promises, or like Ted Cruz, I hate him. Like that's just what a colossal missing of the point.
Yeah, I can't imagine someone would not like one of the most odious faces just bopping around.
It's just a nightmare. And even the thought to me of rehashing like what Neera did that's so bad, because she's done a lot of things that's bad, but it made me like go, ugh. What's the point of this? This is just old news. Everyone knows that she busted the union at Think Progress. Everyone knows that she outed identity of a sexual assault victim at her company on an all-hands call.
Yes, absolutely. Like all that shit is terrible. And then I try to think about it, and then I think about how the Midwest doesn't have fertile soil anymore, and I'm like, I guess I don't care as much as I did say in 2018. The whole thing about this Neera experience is it feels very 2018 to me. It feels like a pre-COVID Trump news cycle, but there's no Trump.
Yeah. And I think as we were discussing and you got to that sort of realm of your thinking, that's when it hit us what the angle is. And it is that not only is posting stagnant, but this whole scenario, all the Neera being nominated and litigated and relitigated and it continuing on and on for weeks, that's just macro posting. That's going to be how everything is now, and we should expect nothing but that forever.
You should expect nothing like that forever, especially because take the RNC strategy like stuff aside, but I was reading that like they're really going in, the Republicans are really going all in on the cancel culture as a major plank in sort of like their grievance communication. And well, fundamentally, that means like life is posting, and all issues derived from that sort of communication are going to be how the life that you live, which is posting based, is unfair to you. Like it's going to happen forever. And the other issue here I see is when people talk about cancel culture, they also are sort of conflating another thing often, which is like, I deserve a lot of followers and I want them.
Yeah. So this is our new forever then, I guess.
It is. And the important thing to realize about this, about the Neera situation, is that we can't get a higher minimum wage. We bombed Syria. We're never getting another check. But Biden is like, I'm going to go nuclear. This lady needs to get in here.
Yeah.
I'm willing to trade Supreme Court seats for this.
we said, hey, Mr. Biden, so like the entire South broke because of climate hell, and there's no money and there's no jobs and people keep asking for money still anyway. Can we have some free money, please, so we can live? And he's like, I can't, because a little leprechaun came out of the Senate chamber and said, no for you. And so there's nothing I can do. The little imp said so. And we're supposed to be like, okay, stuff. It's just so hard to get anything done. He's got no power. But Neera almost didn't get her cushy free job for being a loyal fucking bootlicker. And he's like, I will murder anyone who will get in the way of Neera. I will do anything for Neera. I have gone beast mode now. I will kill for Neera. And it's just like, oh, okay. So it really is just like Poster's ear forever, but not even online anymore. It's always just going to be the same thing endlessly forever.
Right. Yeah. You can't roll up your sleeves and get ready to push a Neera nomination through while, I guess, I don't know, we don't get checks and everything else burns, unless you have permanent Poster's ear and you also think life is posting. We live in a permanent online hell. Everything is just a shitty web page.
I mean, because think about it. What is Poster's ear? What is posting in general? Like, if you go fucking log on Twitter, what is your experience going to be every single day, no matter what happens? Well, someone is going to have brought up a topic that has been said a million times. And then
girls can watch Goodfellas.
Yeah. Some girl is going to be like, you know, when a boy makes you watch Goodfellas, yucko mode, and then someone is going to be like, actually, girls can watch Goodfellas, and it's going to be like, this happened before, didn't it? And yes, 1,000 times, and it will happen 1,000 more times.
This is why did this happen feel so insane, because the Senate parliamentary thing being like, actually, this dusty tome says we can't do this right now, because 5 months ago, anytime there was a rule, they just said that guy's gay.
Yeah.
And he just got plowed through. It's like, that was life 5 months ago.
Yeah, like Donald Trump would wake up, think up, dick on big mode. He would post that onto Twitter, and then by evening, like dick on big mode was like the law of the land.
Yes.
I mean, that's because he's Joe. That's because he is the chaos man, and now that he's gone, we've reverted into just the infinite cycle where nothing new can happen, and the little imp man, the parliamentarian who comes out from behind the rock to go is like the umpire who's making sure that we always have posters here. Because what happens when you're posting, what happens when that discourse starts, is at its core that everyone is constantly yelling about shit that does not matter. Like, if we did reach a conclusion about whether girls can like Goodfellas, it would not fucking matter. And furthermore, we never will reach a conclusion because it's gonna continue forever. And that's exactly what this Neera shit is.
The degree that it does not matter is crazy. And I have experienced this in real life. Like, I've had mental and medical health issues this past few months where I've been fully offline for, 4 days. And then when you first see your timeline after not having been glued to it, it's like an instruction booklet for a video game you don't really remember. Like, it's all fake. It's all not real. Like, I like seeing my friends, to be clear. Like, yay friends and their good posts, but the surrounding discourse, even like the friendly memes, it feels so detached if you can just get away from it long enough.
And thank God for you for being able to take a break like that. It represents a lot of willpower to not drink the toilet water. The toilet is so fucking delicious looking, even though you know that it's just stagnant water and the flushing man went away. He died, so the turds are just going to make the water taste even more like turds forever.
Yeah, it sucks. His tweets are gone. Like, we can't retweet The Leaking Monster of No Control, an all-time banger, one of the funniest things he's ever tweeted. It's gone.
And it's gone. He'll never do anything like that again. And I don't want to make it seem like we like him or we want him.
No, God, no. It's like if we're all going to get, if what we're going to get is rot, like, sometimes there'd be a good post as the rot happens.
I think the best way to describe it is we're all in the fucking Play-Doh cave and we're watching the same puppets forever. And there used to be every day a man who would just come in and shoot a gun. And like, we didn't like that guy. He would hit people sometimes with the gun and they'd die.
But we planned our day around that guy now. Like, yeah. It is reasonable to say that his coming and going shaped our lives.
Yeah. And and even if you are able to detach from the online and sort of see reality again, which, like, good on you for being able to do that, but that's actually not a useful skill that's going to do anything for you, because you don't live in a world where reality exists. Reality has been replaced by posting. See fucking Neera. See the fact that we are in a hell country that has nothing working and everything's breaking, and an entire state froze and broke, and people are dying and losing everything, and there's no relief. And there's a pandemic, and there's no relief, and no one wants to fight for relief. No one cares about you or wants you to live. But we do need to spend all of our time and all of our effort and make sure we double down
on posts. We got to talk about posts.
Yeah, we got to have more posts. We got to have Neera. She's a poster. She's worked in the posting mines. She needs to be part of a posting cycle, which is what this is. We will not rescind her nomination. We will continue to have news stories about her. We will continue to talk about her posts constantly. If she fucking doesn't get the job, which I think that these hearings will go on forever, but if they ever end, if she doesn't get the job, she will be posting about it all the time. If she does get the job, we'll be seeing posts about what she's doing at the job constantly, and everyone will constantly remember how contentious it was to have her long confirmation hearing and be like, fucking brain on bad mode if you didn't like Neera. She is a badass queen, or you know, anyone who thought Neera was good is a dumb fucking lib. She's obviously evil. And it's like, somehow I feel like I've heard this before. What's going on? I mean, back in time? What year is it? Because this is all it is.
This particular discourse, because it's Neera related and because it all goes back to 2016, it all just feels like the fucking news ecosystem is just trying to always relive the best time of their life, which was 2015 and 2016, and they're dragging us back into it all the time. I hate it. I hate it.
God, you're fucking right, dude. Because that was when the man with the gun came into the cave. But he wasn't also our king.
Yeah. Yeah, he said the gun might shoot out fully functioning factories with tons of jobs, and everyone was like, "Yeah."
No, the gun was one of those clown guns that shoots out a pole with a flag on it, and the flag said like "Bazinga." Everyone thought it was funny, but then he traded it in at the gun store for a real one.
Has there been a goof where that happens, like the flag, but then the person pulls the trigger a second time, so the bang flag flies out and does gruesome damage? Yeah, that would be so funny.
That's literally a fatality that the Joker does in DC Universe versus Mortal Kombat, the game no one liked before Mortal Kombat got good again.
You see, I came up. I gotta just be a weirdo that sits in a room and eats like Doritos, and they're like, we need ideas. And I'm like, all right, well, I need those blue Doritos.
Yeah, the blue is for thinking.
My mana is low. I need the blue one.
It really rules to me that we got 4 years of the Biden administration, and it's clear on fucking month 1 that the only thing that matters is posting, and that the only thing that will manifest from this administration is just sort of IRL posting discourse, and that nothing will improve and there will be no material change in our lives, except that they get worse and we hurt more.
The type of post I wasn't prepared for, which was the rationalizing following a military strike type posts, where following the Syria strike, saw a lot of replies that were like, well, actually, here's why this is actually good.
Yeah.
Like, and here's the thing, like, I don't have to understand all the geopolitical stuff. I just get kind of bummed when I know that, like, my tax dollars exclusively go towards the serious stuff, which I'm assured is cool and normal, and less so the check part that would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, it is funny that, like, we do say that, like, you know, the only thing that's going to happen, the only thing that life is going to manifest itself as, is pointless, loud, bickering discourse that never goes anywhere and is to no purpose. Even
right. As the temperature gets, like, a little hotter.
Yeah. We can say that. But the fact is, that's not completely true. Because the one place where cold, hard reality still exists and where things working is very important, is murdering people in the Middle East. We will never fucking slack on that. We will always be the number one best nation at murdering people. And I also love that, like, the one sort of, like, avenue of praise in those posts that kills me the most is people being like, if Trump did this, he'd be tweeting about it all the time. Biden did this surgically, you didn't hear a peep, not even in the news. And it's like, that's bad. Like, that's way worse. Oh no.
Thank God Biden is at the helm, because now when the war machine kills someone, he doesn't talk about it. So it's like the person that got killed never existed.
Like we fucking said a lot of the time, the only thing people dislike about Trump is that he's a boorish, rude man. And I really hoped that I was being an exaggerating, jokey guy who was doomsaying and being hyperbolic. Fucking no.
People really want a situation room guy. That's like actually the only thing that they want out of a president, I guess.
I mean, like, if you are that small-brained of an idiot, like, and you're the way that you perceive the world is based on the tone with which things are presented to you, an annoying idiot man being like, I killed a bunch of people, wahoo, fucking racism rules, you'd be like, well, that's bad. Okay, I get that. That's bad. But if someone is like, hello, I am a man in a suit, and I have made a tactical deliberation, and I have executed a military operation in the dead of night that has surgically removed some people from the world of the living. It'd be like, well, that he must have gone to a board meeting about that, and they decided it was right.
Yeah, he has a great LinkedIn. It's fine. The one thing that is also persistent online in the new posting normalcy of terribleness forever is that, like, there's just a horrible disaster that you're just, like, looking at. There's always something that you can experience on the ground online. What just happened was Texas. Before that, I can't even remember anymore. There's always a thing.
There was a whole summer of non-stop police brutality in every single city in the country.
Yes.
A lot of people forgot about that because it didn't matter, because the only thing that matters is posting.
It also, like, didn't stop.
Oh, of course, to be clear. I didn't mean to imply.
And there's that element of it, too, which, when I got 4 days away from it, was apparent, because I wasn't mainlining suffering and decay into me as I felt hopeless. Like, yes, you should continue to give to the mutual aid funds and all that stuff, but yikes, this is what Twitter is going to be forever, huh?
And it's like, it's not even that you're keeping yourself informed, because you are, of course, but it's not really.
I'm not better for this knowledge.
Yeah. It's not like you're engaging with it in a real way, because all that it is like the theme for today's dose of posting. You still have posters here. You're still going to be repeating the same things, angrier and louder every time, to no end, because nothing is going to change, because nothing can change. Like, no one's going to fucking do anything. The only thing that's actually going to happen, that's going to concretely happen, that did not used to be, is we are going to spend money to make Middle Eastern people not live anymore. If they're like, whatever disaster is the coat of paint on today's round of posting is never going to be addressed, because that would represent not posting for a bit. It would represent the government logging off. And I think a wise man once said, "I will never log off."
I actually think the CIA starts the Goodfellas discourse. I think that I do. I think there is like a small team at the CIA that like is using a lot of intel from film Twitter to just make the most insidious brainworms possible, and they're crushing it.
Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode.
Tom, as I go on my little dumb walks to make my brain feel better, I like subconsciously just view other people as like 6-foot domes that I have to navigate around. And I got a question. When do you think that's going to go away? Is that just in there now? Is that just how it is for the rest of my life?
Oh, for sure is. Because today, me and my wife went on a walk, because there's no snow on the roads today. And so we went to like the lakefront to like walk around. And holy shit, like a quarter of the people are wearing masks. And like, this is not new. It's been the case forever. But pretty much every single person who is live and is outside, if you try to not be directly next to them while you're walking, they will get so confused. They have no idea what you're doing. Like, so if there's 3 people taking up the entire sidewalk, walking towards you with no masks, and you walk out of the way, they're not like pissed. They're like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. So for real, I believe that's a permanent thing now. That's my whole brain forever. Why do you ask?
Because like there are very funny times where strangers have gotten very close to us that I was thinking about, and I was like, well, that can't happen now. We can't have a fun, insane interaction with a stranger now because we think of the plague. Like, we can't listen to their words. We're too busy thinking about the vector of the disease. And specifically, I was thinking about, do you remember the woman that just showed up outside the archery thing for your bachelor party?
Holy shit. Fuck. I do. So, listener, we were doing my bachelor party, and the first event was gonna be we're gonna go to the lakefront and do archery. I forgot about this part about it, which is that we didn't actually do archery. It was
we didn't do archery. We had okay. So what happened is we had to wait to start archery. For the record, it never happened. They just forgot.
Yeah, so my buddy Damien had paid an archery person to come to the range with like rental bows and teach us how to do it. And it was like 95 degrees. We were so fucking sweaty, and we were waiting for them to show up. And the time came, and then like an hour passed, and Damien got a text that was like, "Oops." And he's like, "Oopsie, I slept. Like I ain't coming. I forgot.
I didn't know there was a Saturday this week too. My bad."
It was insane. So we didn't get to do that. But that meant that we spent about 2 hours just standing around outside on the lakefront, and distressingly early on, this woman who was wearing, I think she had a bikini on, and also I think like a knit cardigan.
I thought she was with you. I ran from my hell tower to this location because I was running late. And as I was running up, I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to meeting this woman who is supposed to be here.
Yeah. She introduced herself to us by telling us, I woke up on a boat.
Fucking all-timer. One of the funniest. I woke up on a boat. It was also clear she woke up on a boat, like, with direct sun beating down on her, like on a deck.
She looked like she was made of fruit leather. She had so much sun damage. Yeah, and she was like, "Hey, you guys are gonna boat today?" And we're like, "No." She's like, "I woke up on a boat."
She had wine.
She had a big bottle of wine, and she was like, walked right up to us, like face to face, and was like, "Hey, and you guys got a corkscrew?" This is like 10 a.m.
Yes.
This is the first thing we're doing that day. And we're like, "No, we don't have a corkscrew." And she's like, "Well, that's your problem. What's wrong with you there?" And she sort of wanders off, and we're like, "Thank God she's gone. That was weird. I woke up on a boat." Isn't that a funny thing to say? It's not I went to sleep on a boat. It's I woke up on a boat. Isn't that
she
sort of
for
like
sure did not go to sleep on that same boat?
Or like, I wonder if she knows what a fun bit of world building she's organically put into that line. But we weren't allowed to fucking reflect for long because she came back. She had opened the wine somehow. We never figured out how.
I think she hit it against a tree. I think she did, because, like, can't you do that with, like, a shoe or something?
I don't know. Maybe? I've never tried. Wait. Okay. Are you talking about, like, you hit the bottom with a shoe and, like, the cork pops out? Or
yes.
Are you talking about, like, sabering a bottle of champagne where you, like, karate chop the neck off the glass?
Absolutely the first one.
Okay. I don't know. But she came back, and she had the wine, and she was drinking it. And she would just linger by us. We had donuts. Damien had bought a big thing of Krispy Kreme donuts.
She was the first person to eat a donut.
She did not ask. She saw the donut box on the ground, and before we realized what was going on, she had picked a donut up and was eating it along with her wine. And she would just ask us questions about boating, and we were like, "I cannot emphasize enough, we will not do any boating today or ever."
She was clearly looking for a place to sleep.
This is the one that we kept trying to, like, politely indicate, like, we do not wish to continue talking with you. We would
this
like
is the
to have
point I had to leave. I once I realized that she wasn't with you guys and she was just like a presence that shouldn't be there. I started feeling like so much like weird secondhand embarrassment that like she clearly wasn't experiencing. I was like, I actually need to go lay down under a tree because I'm having like a weird brain freak out because this woman can't be real.
I mean, and you say that, and you did leave, but you didn't miss it because when you came back, she was still there, I believe.
Oh yeah, she was there. Yeah,
and the line that is the sort of meme that came from this. Meme is a strong word. More of a shared joke among us is that one of the times we had made it. We wanted to indicate that this is no longer a conversation we're having with you, and we are now having a different conversation privately among us, friends who know each other already. And we were doing that, and she sort of was getting the vibe that, like, I'm not part of the conversation now. They're having a different conversation. She had the wild idea, the great strategy of just bellowing out, context-free, Hollywood Beach.
Presumably where she woke up.
Well, where the boat she woke up on was. Let's be clear, it was still a boat.
Yeah. It's like, well, you were kind of creeping us out, and then you started naming locations.
It was wild, just like this. And like, we couldn't get mad because like, she wasn't doing anything bad. She wasn't like saying anything inappropriate or like being mean to us or getting like too close. Like the worst thing she did was she took a donut. But if she had asked for one, we probably would have said fine anyway because there was more donuts than people. But she's just like a strong presence to have around. And it was already a tense situation because we were like, we're supposed to be shooting arrows, but instead there's no clue. We have no clue what's going on because like it was a while before the archery person was like, oh, I forgot that this was happening. Whoopsie, my bad, not coming.
Yeah, they're like, can we reschedule 3 years from now?
Yeah, I think it was at least over a year when we got the free makeup lesson, which was fun to be clear. But Joe, you got to tell us about how she left.
Oh, yeah, this will stay with me for a very long time. She left because I thought we would have to say, like, Miss, we would like to be left alone. But luckily what happened is she realized that we weren't really partying that hard, and she's like, anyway, I got to go. My mom's here. And then the oldest woman I've ever seen in my life pulled up in a Saturn. Like, she was like an unwrapped mummy. She was so old.
I gotta be clear. I don't think this woman had a phone. Because, again, she was wearing...
Yes, that was the other part. She, like, her mom just knew.
She's like, well... She definitely is going to wake up on a boat on Hollywood Beach. So I'm just going to troll the lakeshore until I find her. Because, again, she was wearing a bikini and, like, a knit cardigan that didn't have pockets. So where was the phone? There wasn't none. The mom just was, oh, my mom's here to pick me up. Well, of all the things to say.
Yes. That whole day was not really the right emotional fit for a bachelor party because we also went to the Neo-Futurist Theater to see a show in the evening as a last thing, and it was like very heavy and everyone felt like shit at the end.
Yeah, so here's the thing. We went to a show that was heavily lauded, and good friend of ours, Gwyn Fulcher, she is also on Shuffle Quest. She's the best. She said, man, this show that they're doing in the Neo-Futurist Theater is incredible.
It was good.
Great.
It was good.
It was really fucking creepy. So here's the thing. It was really fucking creepy and heavy. And, this is a very progressive theater company, so they have trigger warnings. And the trigger warnings were like, there are some flashing lights in this play. What the trigger warnings did not say is that there would be a character who was obsessively stalking another character and threatening self-harm if that character didn't do what they said.
Yeah. Also, that was the play. That was all of it.
That was the entire play.
That was it. It was really tense.
So one of my buddies actually had that happen to him. Had an obsessive stalker who threatened self-harm if he didn't do what he said. And he left that play furious that he had to sit through it. And when I heard his explanation, I was like, yes.
I know you're angry, but at least earlier in the day, you didn't get to learn archery. Well, you got to stand outside in the 95-degree heat and just hang out.
Hollywood Beach. Anyway, that was a fun day. Looking back on it, I wish I could have some shit like that again.
Just the idea that you could fuck up a bachelor party but like still do it with people is such a charming thought.
Yeah. Maybe one day if we ever get our fucking vaccination. Although we're both in like society's shit tier lowest priority group, so it'll happen in like 2022. Who knows? Maybe. When it happens, I'm going to fucking show up at your house at 8 a.m. and I'm going to be like, buddy, I'm here till 8 p.m. I got no plans.
I got no plans. I have something on my phone I'm going to be looking at a lot, though. I got a new Match 3 game that I want to show you and talk to you about.
I gotta tell you about a new Slay the Spire card. Well, actually, it's old. I just I used it in a new way. Well, actually, not in a new way, but in a way I thought was cool. Ah, fuck. I think that's all the time we got for Anime Sickos this week. Thank you for listening. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I'm Joe, an Anime Sicko.
We'll see you next time. Hope you guys are doing okay out there in your horrible posting world. We're certainly not. Anyway, bye-bye.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.